Yo, is it the bow doing that much damage, or is that just my turrets? Hey, yo, I'm hitting niggas for like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on, wait. I'm gonna hit you. Let me holler at you real quick with that. Hold up, wait a minute. Damn! Look at the damage! What? What? Yo, look at the damage! What's this? Shit's crazy! This is actually really good on Rebecca. Like, what the hell? You get the trigger probability with Rebecca's love passes, and then look how much damage it's doing. It's just bleeding through them. I mean, I get the skill damage increase, but I don't need it. I do so much poison, and the poison ticks are insane, bro. That's insane. It's so good. And then I plop these things down, so I'm getting skill range and crazy dot ticks. Yo, this thing is actually crazy on Rebecca. Wait a minute. Like, look at that, bro. You can't tell me that's not nasty.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. As you saw, we were cooking up something crazy with this new build of Rebecca. It's been a while since I've actually updated my Rebecca build or spoke about my Rebecca. You know, I'm usually just grinding over there on Twitch. So, yeah, there hasn't really been much to go on or much really to say about the build. It's not too different from the last time I uploaded a video showcasing my my mid to late game build, even though like technically it's still the exact same as my in game build that I'm running now. Some minor changes have happened, and with some new information that I had to go back and correct myself on. Sorry, I had to process like what to say because I played a beta, as many of you probably already know by now, and in the beta there was some things that worked that don't work in the full game. That in the beginning, trying to push some things out, it was kind of like, oh, you know, misunderstanding. Apologies, I was wrong about this. Like for example, Serenity stacking. Serenity doesn't stack, unfortunately. So we went back and we changed some things up. Now my builds are always going to be built around my fun factor. I don't care how crazy cracked the build is, as long as my builds are fun and gets the job done in a manner that I find appropriate. So like in this build, as you can see, I can kill over level 120 plus enemies perfectly fine, and I find it to be absolutely fun. I might even have a bossing clip somewhere in here of me just killing like a boss. I tried it against the level 80 Psyche like last night, but for some other reason, like Psyche wasn't being affected by my trigger probability. So because she wasn't getting like any kind of status effects, I'm just gonna like not upload that fight in particular. But enough yapping. Let's talk about the build. So, breaking out of here, we are using the beautiful Embla Inflorescence bow. This bow, as many people know, they swear up and down it's like Niffle's best in slot. I agree. You know, I do think this is one of Niffle's best weapons to use, hands down. There's no weapon like it. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a best in slot in a traditional sense of like you absolutely need this weapon on Niffle. This weapon just gives Nipple like, or I said Nipple, Niffle her most optimal kind of DPS, right? So it is really, 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 really good. That probably made no sense to you guys. Let me clarify what I meant by that so I don't sound like an idiot. What I mean by it's not necessarily like a best in slot. It's just like you don't necessarily need this weapon to make Niffle perform, kind of thing. You know, you can use any other weapon to get really creative and have fun and do some other stuff, and you'll be fine. But this weapon definitely is like technically made for Niffle. She gets the most out of this weapon. Even characters like Lizbel too, because they're both Luno characters. They get the skill damage and they get the skill range. This gives like the highest amp that Niffle will ever have because she gets 2 scales, right? And then also just the way it interacts, it just makes her AOE and her abilities proc awesome. But this isn't about Niffle. This is about Rebecca. So I was like, you know what? I'm someone who likes to go around and goof and stuff like that. And it has skill range. And I wanted to add more skill range to my build. So we're gonna run this bow specifically for the skill range. But when I was using it, I was like, wait a minute. This bow's actually proccing trigger probability like crazy. And you know what the trigger probability does, guys? It procs my character's perks or my character's abilities too. So with my love deal on Rebecca, I'm not sure this is an intended feature or not, but my love deuce proc on enemies as well, and that AoE, the poison ticks go crazy, especially with the turrets. So with this being said, I'm doing over like 120k plus dot ticks on an enemy with my Rebecca build without even needing to use my E skill, and it scales really well. Like the damage keeps going up and up and up. But we're gonna showcase what's on it. So starting with the weapon, let's just showcase the weapon first. So now you understand why I'm using the weapon. We got fold over on the weapon. Not maxed out yet. Can't wait to max it out. Right? We got impetus focus on our weapon. We did max this bad boy out because we're the goats. We have focus for the crit chance because crit damage is always nice to have on your weapon. And then we have edge for slash attack. This is gonna stale. It's multiplicative, right? With impetus, so this is gonna give us more damage rather than just running like another flat impetus. The reason why my other build videos that I only had impetus on and not like the actual like things like edge or penetration was because I didn't demon wedge I didn't demon wedge farm in the beginning of the game. I speed ran instantly to like 55 and 60 plus to be one of the first few people to ever do so. And then I started doing demon wedge farming because that's where I was going to spend the majority of my time in the end game, demon wedge farming anyways. So I speed ran to the ranks I needed to be at to start getting all the demon wedges. And that's why in my other build videos, like I kept saying, things are subject to change, all this stuff, yada yada yada. I just didn't have the mods because I wasn't out there farming them. Um, Now we have Rage and Trammel going on here. This is going to give us more trigger probability and more crit damage. Um, Honestly, you don't need a gold one if you're trying to copy this build and you're a little bit lower TR. You can just use the purple. I don't know what's going on with the gold one. I think the gold one they kind of like fumbled the bag on it. The gold one starts off weaker than the purple. At max level, this is only like 54% maxed out at R5, which is kind of like trash in my opinion. Whereas like the R5 purple version is 80%, right? So if you got the purple, just run the purple. Like you're not really missing out. I'm only like 10% higher than you after doing this many refinements. This is actually kind of ridiculous. If I had to guess, I'm probably gonna get like an extra 20% boost. Probably gonna stop somewhere around um the 100% mark, or it might even be like dumb and say like 99%. Because impetus focus stops at 99% crit chance, so it might be like 99% crit damage, 99% trigger probability. Anyways, moving on. We're running Trammel as well. Again, to boost that trigger probability feature or function of the weapon. This is actually really important to me. Because again, I want to get those poison ticks to proc, right? And then we got celerity going on here, or celery stick, as I like to call it. I don't have this one upgraded yet. I will actually upgrade this soon. I do have some to amplify, but this does actually help me pump out some quick damage with my bow. I think it. I don't know. This don't quote me here. I don't know if it actually affects the lock-on speed too of the bow, but this actually does have a function, and then you can just instantly just spam into a crowd. Anyways, it's another form of DPS. I'm always gonna keep telling people attack speed is another form of DPS. Just use it, right? And then because we do have a decent amount of crit, we got 65% crit. We are running rage for the crit damage to also help the bow do even more damage on top of our poison ticks. Um, you can play around and switch up some things if you really want to. I think this build is actually pretty solid. It has everything I initially want and need. I even use this on my Niffle and stuff like that and some other units, but mainly Rebecca now. I think this is more of Rebecca's weapon and Niffle's weapon, but mainly Rebecca because I just like it's just so fun. It's obviously Niffle's main weapon. Like it's obviously just like Niffle wants this, right? But it just feels so good on Rebecca. She's not getting the Illumino buff, but she doesn't need it. Anyways, moving on to the next part of the build is the daggers. These daggers are actually really, really, really cracked. In my original video, I explained why I was using the daggers. I was using the daggers because they have a high base attack speed automatically, which is really nice. They scale really well. They do a lot of slash damage too, which is really nice. Um, and I only have it still at an R2 refinement. I haven't got the R3, R4, R5. I have a feeling that when I R5 it, I should be at a 2.5 attack speed, maybe even higher. But I'm thinking I'm gonna stop around like 2.5 attack speed. That's what I'm guessing I'm gonna be at because I do have a maxed out celery stick here, so I'm assuming 2.5 is gonna be the max. Um, we got focus on for crit chance. Now this weapon doesn't have a whole lot of crit. Now the focus was good with my older build for the weapon because I was using things like utmost or Kismet or something like that, which gives you more crit chance on combo. So I was critting like a lot. But with how fast I attack, I do end up pumping out some crits. So I do run it. You don't necessarily need focus. If you want to switch focus out for um, potentially more trigger probability, by all means, feel free to do so. I'm been thinking about it for a little while and turning it from a crit weapon to like a status weapon kind of thing. Um, but I'll leave that up to you. I'm guessing I might even yeah, I might even just leave that alone. This one we have to switch out for edge. I do have an edge here now. I didn't replace it because I haven't really come back to the daggers, but we will actually switch up some of this stuff again. I just leave it alone. I'm only using daggers purely for the turret. So, anyways, ignoring that, impetus, focus, attack percent, crit chance. Obviously the normal shebang. We are running the blade of feint. There is another dagger mod that actually gives you the attack speed, but also gives you like the fast dash, similar to like the spear. I don't have that one yet. I think you get that one from fishing, which I haven't fished inside this game. So if you want to have like the movement speed and stuff like that when doing commissions, so you're not like just slowly running from point A to point B, you can run that one instead. We were only using this one just for the attack speed boost, right? That's literally all you're using it for, and nothing else. Then we got a maxed out celerity, again to increase our base attack speed to help our turrets just go like toom 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 toom. We got brutality. Brutality gives you more attack speed when you actually kill an enemy using your melee. So this is actually really good. So if you ever get in a situation where you're really surrounded a lot and you need to pump out some more damage really quickly, this does actually affect the turret speeds because when you actually have this buff going on, it increases your base attack speed on your melee weapon, and your turrets will actually plop a lot faster. Next, we're gonna be using rage, right? Rage for the crit damage because obviously we got crit chance on here, and then we do have the trigger probability, rage and tremble. I do have to actually upgrade the melee version. As you can see, the ranged version is actually almost maxed out, but the melee is not. So yeah, 54% is kind of trash, but hopefully by the time we get to like the 90% and stuff like that, we should go back to having like 60% trigger probability. Um, if you don't have it, honestly, just put on the purple one again. Like I said, the purple one is way better as a placeholder until you actually fully upgrade Rage and Trammel. You should be around like 60% or something like that, I think. And then impetus for more attack. Now this was before I got Edge, so I will be replacing this with Edge. I'll probably do it like an hour later, but I don't really care. Anyways, that's the weapons. That's the weapons covered. Geniemons, we are still using Broboxy. Again, I use Broboxy on literally everything. All of my characters will always have Broboxy. We do have only a 16% fierce on, and we do have a 10% increased drop rate by Frugal. So we do have Frugal on as well, stacking with our Roboxy. And this is just to help my Rebecca when she's farming or doing any kind of commission whatsoever. It doesn't matter. Or all of my characters, it's just really nice to have. So this is I'm getting an extra little boost of damage. Um, Going to Rebecca herself, the moment you guys all been waiting for. Not too much has changed since you guys last seen my Rebecca build. We are running Wildfire again for some more range. And the reason why I chose range over duration, you can choose which one you prefer. Honestly, you could put duration on if you're going to run the bow, because the bow is going to give you some skill range. But yeah, I am using the the Misty Veil here, and Misty Veil does actually boost your skill range, not by much, but it still is a boost nonetheless to help you with more AoE mob control. And because Rebecca is like my mobber, that's why I have it going on. My game just completely froze. Okay. Sorry about that. My game completely crashed. So I had to like chop that section of the video and then move over. Anyways, Misty Veil. Misty Veil, as you guys know, gives you the attack speed and the skill range boost. The skill range boost isn't as big as, as the attack speed increase. So this is something to take into consideration. If you personally decide you want more duration on your turrets, especially with how fast my turrets are going to be proccing, that would be great. If you decide to get multiple copies of the Embla Inflorescence, you might have a lot of skill range to where you might say, okay, this isn't necessarily needed anymore, and then you might upgrade. So that is something to consider for yourself. I I'm kind of on the fence about it. Like I kind of want to, and I kind of at the same time I'm like, do I really care? Like I'm doing content right now. I'm kind of lazy. I'm farming so many characters at once and building so many different units. I just haven't really spent a lot of time with my Rebecca anymore. Next we got the Blaze Spectrum. This is gonna give us more attack percent, more skill range, as many of you know. I do have Uplift on. Now, I know this is a huge controversy. Everyone always questions about Uplift. I run Uplift on my main damage dealers because if I'm going to do some solo content and I want to showcase my character killing things solo, right? I have Uplift on for the bigger damage boost because I'm I'm playing by myself, right? I'm not really using my AI companions. And if I'm playing with like some of my friends and they all have like their own little like things going on, like they're not running the Serenity or anything like that, who knows, whatever it may be, I have like Uplift on for my damage dealers. Now you can throw the other ones on. Now, one thing to consider is that if you don't want to copy my method, the most optimal way, I guess, if you really want to go optimal, if you don't want to do this, is you can put morale on instead, and you can have your character stat into morale a little bit to get a little boost. And then like your other characters, like the companions, I'm gonna recommend to you shortly after. I'm gonna recommend characters like Tabby. I'm gonna recommend characters like Truffle. Right, those kind of characters you would put on Uplift and Serenity. You can get your energy regen and you can get your damage dealt increase as well. But if you're gonna be like me, and just want to just like have a solo unit, you can have them on the other ones or whatever. Who cares, right? Like your sub DPS can go on your morale, and your support can also go on Serenity. So I like to think of it like a sub DPS, Serenity kind of sub DPS, Morale kind of thing. And my main DPS gets the full damage brunt always. So, like if they ever die or lose damage, I'm always consistently doing my damage. So that's the way I like to personally play. That's how my builds are always gonna roll. That's the whole reason for Uplift. Okay. All right. You guys understand that now? All right, cool. Next, Onslaught. Now, previously before, use things like Trapped in my old build because this increases damage dealt by 1.2% per enemy within a 20-meter range. Issue with that became, well, now I do so much damage and I have so much AoE that enemies don't necessarily always tend to get close, right? And this is great. But Onslaught at the very least, it does give you a massive attack boost. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if this is multiplicative or this is a flat attack increase. I'm going to automatically assume it's multiplicative, right? Because it's a percentile base. It's not just like it's a flat, whatever. So I'm going to say it's multiplicative. Now, you might say, don't you get a diminishing return when you have Onslaught on? And I'm not going to lie, it hasn't felt pretty bad at all. And like I said, the damage scaling is actually really nice when I'm going into the higher waves. It's also more consistent in terms of the damage that I'm going to be doing versus things like Trapped, right? Like Trapped, for me, it's great, but you only have this buff when enemies are actually close to you, right? That's about it. And if it's only like one enemy, it's not like you're doing that much damage anyways. Where Onslaught is like, hey, I'm up here, right? So I've been really enjoying Onslaught, especially on characters like Niffle too, quite a bit. Boosting their attack even further. I have so much attack right now that it actually does kind of like feel good. Like I have a huge attack pool to pull from. You know what I mean? Like 221. It feels pretty nice. Now again, I know people are gonna keep arguing diminishing returns. Um, I'm just gonna let the damage like showcase itself. It doesn't feel that bad at all at the level I'm at right now, and where I'm at in content. So Trapped was really 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 great for me, but then the issue with Trapped was I just wasn't getting a trap buff, right? After a while, like enemies were just dying too soon, they'll die too far away, stuff like that. And usually by the time they got like mobbed on top of me, they'll just instantly die again. So it wasn't like it was anything too bad. But Onslaught, I started doing this again. I'm just giving this long-winded explanation for Onslaught for why I'm running it. Because when I used it on characters like Rhythm, it was like a huge game changer for characters like Rhythm too, because the way her damage transfer works. So it just consistently just let me kill enemies that are really, really, really far away. And with the poison, if I smack an enemy with my poison that's like far away from my turrets and all that stuff like that, like it's gonna continue just doing that big burst of damage, which is just nice. So this is a really good consistency kind of thing. I like Onslaught again. It just makes me stronger, it makes my weapons stronger, all that stuff. I love it. And then we got Blaze Spectrum on here again for the attacker percent skill range. If you notice, I don't have any real gold demon wedges on Rebecca other than just Onslaught and Misty Veil. So you can feel free to so you already know there's gonna be way more damage getting pumped out here sooner or later once I actually start farming the gold demon wedges, right? So it's gonna be absolutely nasty. Um I did actually mess around for a little bit and I did try her out with Blaze. But I don't recommend doing this. This wasn't like anything super crazy. I had Blaze on for a little while to up her damage numbers even higher a little bit, but yeah, at that point it felt like a kind of diminishing return. You don't really notice too much of a difference there in terms of scaling and all that stuff like that. But if you need a little bit of a boost at a lower TR, then yeah, you can definitely do that. You can replace one of these for Blaze to help you out just a little bit in the lower TRs. As you start going up, you are going to get more attack percent and stuff like that. So you don't necessarily need too much. So it kind of lets you sacrifice a little bit more. And most of my builds in the beginning, I should say most of my builds, but most of my builds in the beginning, even though it's not all of them are published on YouTube yet, um, had that in mind as well. Was like the trial rank buff, so that they didn't really look like they were performing early on because they're mainly late game builds rather than early game builds, if that makes sense. All right, so that's the weapon. Now let's talk about characters and teammates. So our teammates here, we can run characters like, where's she at? Tabby. Tabby's really good because she's gonna boost your skill damage further, as well as I think she also has the Hydro buff too. No, it's just she doesn't have the Hydro buff. I lied. It's just on the skill damage boost overall. So I do recommend just claiming the skill damage boost here for herself and allies, and then just leveling up her buff. All this stuff I didn't really need to level up. I just leveled up because I have a overabundance of resources and I like to just waste resources. Clearly, I don't really care to upgrade her attack or anything like that. She's not meant to do damage. She's just meant to just sit there and just buff my other characters and just do whatever the hell she wants to do. Weapons to use on Tabby though. Um, I like to use the Shackle of the Lone Wolf because trigger probability. When a Hydro character triggers a bonus effect with this weapon, other allies gain 33% attack. So, it's not a bad one to actually throw on her if you want to give more attack. You don't necessarily need it, but hey, more damage is more damage, am I right? So I do technically run this as well on her. It is super, super, super nice. Next, you can if you don't want to do this either, another one I'd like to run on Tabby, by the way, is I like to throw her on my dual pistols, the Blue Current Pulse, because it has skill duration. I think the skill duration is super, super, super nice, man. So if you ever want to do that, you can do that. You can even throw in her Osteo if you really want to for the 18% because it's a higher value. Um, that's that's about it, right? This one wouldn't be bad either if you want to put her on another bow yourself, so you can have bow users with Rebecca. Oh, actually, that might be good with the gleaming bow. That's something to think about, chat. Gleaming bow. Throw her on the bow with the skill duration, and all that stuff. But we're gonna save this for our little piggy Truffle. So Truffle, unfortunately, I don't have I2. If you have an I2 Truffle, you are honestly living the dream right now. I2 Truffle gives you like a 300%, not 300%, 300 flat attack increase, which is honestly insane. It's like one of the highest boosts inside the game right now. So she's pretty much going to make your damage like astronomically higher. But we're going to use Filbert here, Truffle, as our second companion because she's actually going to give you some more skill damage, or not skill damage boost. She's gonna boost your damage. It's not just for herself; it's for her allies too. So this is actually really, really, really good when it comes to the piggy. The damage boost here is like 75%. It's really, really, really nice. And she's the healer, so she's our sustainer and buffer. So she's gonna be really great for our team. Now, if you don't have Truffle, because I didn't use Truffle in the videos that you saw with the clip, um, I wasn't using her, and you saw how easy it was, right? You can use characters like Margie if you are really looking for an extra boost in damage, especially again, like I said, in those lower TRs, because Margie gives you an 85% attack boost. You get 40% here, and you get another 45% here. And it is really, really, really nice. I highly recommend Margie. She's super slept on, but she's really good for that 85% attack boost. That's gonna help out your characters just pump out just a little bit more damage if you are struggling in content, um, just a little bit. So Margie is really good, and that's pretty much it for the build. Let me know what you guys think down in the video below or comment section below. If you are looking forward to any characters, also just let me know or pop in over on twitch.tv where you can find me just streaming there all the time. Like I'm literally always live. We just got Lady Nipple I6, so she's been the fun. I have an I2 Psyche. I have so many builds I'm trying to pump out. I'm trying to build Berenica, all this stuff like that. My Lin build's almost complete. I just gotta actually farm some gold demon wedges for her. I plan on building Sybil and all this stuff. So I'm getting these characters ready. And the rhythm got a huge upgrade to her build as well. So that'll be another video I'll be making soon, showcasing my new rhythm performance and how she changed. Because the last video, people were talking about how the enemies were slightly lower level than me. And it's like, yeah, slightly true. The most my rhythm can go up to like comfortably back then was like level 80, but now she can definitely shred through that a lot faster now. Um, so yeah, I'll be ready to showcase some more rhythm gameplay soon. I'm also still trying to work on getting some older demon wedges. This video is super long. I'm sorry. Because I want to showcase the older build for rhythm and how I bossed with her with the older build because with my current build right now, she's a lot stronger. So if I was to showcase me bossing with her, it would look kind of disingenuous. So that's why the rhythm update or some people who are probably waiting on rhythm to be showcased is taking a lot longer than normal. But thank you guys for watching. I love you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Let me end this video. It's gone on way too long. Peace out. Stay blessed.